Britannica defines the transistor as a semiconductor device for amplifying, controlling, and generating electrical signals. Put simply, a transistor is a component that can be used to do one of two things. It can act as an electrical switch, or it can act as an amplifier, which means it can take a small input current and output a larger current. Since their invention in 1947, transistors have become the primary active component of most electronics. For instance, calculators, cameras, and watches all have transistors in them. Here's an example of how ubiquitous the transistor is. In 2014, on average, 8 trillion transistors were produced per second. That figure is 25 times the number of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. But the most important use of transistors is in manufacturing the processors and memory chips used by computers. Transistors and integrated circuits were the two innovations that transformed computers from slow, power-hungry behemoths into the powerful, efficient, and portable devices we use today. Without the invention of the transistor, the computer-centric world we live in would not exist. To understand why, we first need to know how computers work. Computers process and store binary data, which consists of ones and zeros, and these are represented by high and low voltages respectively. Computers manipulate and store this data using logic gates, which are combined to perform complex tasks. Software consists of instructions to electronically perform these operations. This system requires a precise method of controlling electric current. This is the ENIAC, an early electronic computer. It used devices called triodes to control the flow of current. ENIAC was the most powerful computer of its time, being able to do 5,000 additions per second. However, this performance came at a cost. Triodes were bulky, ran hot, and consumed huge amounts of power. And ENIAC had 18,000 of them. The computer took up 1,800 square feet of floor space, weighed 30 tons, and consumed as much power as 360 homes. On top of this, triodes were extremely unreliable. The solution to all this was the transistor. Transistors are made of semiconductors, like silicon. They only conduct electricity when a voltage exceeding a certain threshold is applied, meaning they can be quickly switched on or off by just varying the input voltage. Transistors are better than triodes because they are more efficient, more compact, and more reliable. These benefits meant transistors eventually replaced triodes in computers. Modern processors are not made of separate components like transistors and resistors. Instead, modern processors and chips are integrated circuits. An integrated circuit is a set of electronic circuits on one small flat piece or chip of semiconductor material, usually silicon. Millions or even billions of microscopic transistors can be integrated in each chip. The process by which integrated circuits are made is complex, but in a nutshell, light is used to create patterns on a silicon wafer. Then other materials, such as metals, are deposited and etched. This is done many times until the finished integrated circuit is made. Integrated circuits have allowed us to create computers that are more powerful and efficient than ever before. Remember how the ENIAC was the most powerful computer of its time? The A16 Bionic chip in the iPhone 14 has 4 billion times its computing performance, while using just less than 1/10,000th the power.